Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan. Today in this video, we're going to dive straight into this product right here. This is the Trimui brick handheld video game console. Plug and play loaded with a ton of games. I don't know how many just yet, but we're certainly going to find out. Now before we dive into this product, let's take a look at the YESOUL G1M Plus indoor bike and enjoy some fun cardio. The YESOUL indoor bike is an indoor exercise bike that combines cardio with fun entertainment. Through the YESOUL fitness app, you can race, join virtual workouts, ride along with a fitness instructor, or simply enjoy your favorite entertainment while on your YESOUL bike. The YESOUL bike is easy to make adjustments on, but most importantly, easy to sync your device to in order to screen project TV shows, games, or the YESOUL fitness app right to your 21-inch 1080p personal FHD screen. Click the link in the description of this video to get some additional information on YESOUL and use promo code CHASE100 in order to get $100 off your YESOUL order today. Now let's dive into this product review. All right, so we've got dry and wet wipes here. So I imagine this is our screen protector. Yes, it is. Perfect. Always love when they provide that stuff. Now this is just taking it out of the box still. It's jammed in there pretty good. But I'm really impressed actually by how small and compact this is. I was expecting this to be much larger considering, how big the box is here, but this is definitely pretty compact. I mean, this is very similar to that of like the Mayu Mini. Definitely liking it though. It's a pretty unique design. Let's set that aside just for the time being. Let's see what else is included in here. This is just a little foam insert to keep everything nicely protected. Seems to have done a nice job. It was jammed in there quite well. So they provide some extra shoulder and trigger buttons for us. Very interesting. These are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different packs, 5 different packs of additional shoulder and trigger buttons right here. These are translucent and they're different shapes, a little bit hard to see, especially the translucent ones. These are more angled. So that's interesting that you can just pop those on and off for a different configuration here. You have that back ledge there. They seem pretty responsive though. I'm definitely liking it. I don't think I would change them. The translucent ones are definitely cooler in my opinion than the regular gray ones, but if we take a look at these are raised a lot more. They kind of look like a set of false teeth actually. These are much more rounded, and the ones on here are a little bit more squared off, but it seems to give you something to grab onto, so I'm kind of liking that. Not in game yet obviously, but very unique. I've never seen that provided. 5 different sets. 6 if you count, the ones that are already installed on the actual device itself, but 6 different options to choose from for shoulder and trigger buttons. I've never seen that before. That's really cool. Here's our user manual. Walks through the layout of the button configuration, which we'll dive into momentarily. Set that aside. We have our SD card. This is a 64 gigabyte generic SD card provided for us. We'll go ahead and insert that in momentarily as well. And then here's our USB-A to USB-C charging cable right here. So I'm not seeing an end that would plug into like a power outlet, so I think we're just going to be charging this off of like a computer or a power bank, which I always have with me at all times these days because I never charge my phone at night. So that works out, but let's see, where would we insert the micro SD card? Okay, sweet. Micro SD card slot located on the bottom, but let's bring the camera in and show you guys up close and personal what the Trimui brick has to offer in terms of layout and design. All right guys, here we have our Trimui brick handheld game console right here. So 3.2-inch IPS screen from diagonal to diagonal. We have a 4-button configuration, A, B, X, and Y. Start and select. D-pad over here, which I want to show you guys the side profile. The D-pad sits very high, which I love. I love that in the D-pad. I feel like you have the best action and response with high-sitting D-pads, and this feels very freeing here. It doesn't feel confined or stiff or anything like that. Down here at the bottom, we have a menu button. We have some navigation buttons over here. Speakers pointing to us, the gamer. Over here on the right-hand side, teal button right here is our power button. Right above that, we have our function toggle, so we would go up and down on that one. Nothing across the top of the actual handheld. Left side here has our plus and minus for volume control. And then down here at the bottom, this is our micro SD card slot, our reset button, our Type-C port, and then our audio jack connection. So we have this 64 gigabyte card right here. We're going to go ahead and insert that in. Let's see which way it goes in. Does it go face down? Nope, seems to go the opposite, always the opposite of what I naturally think it's going to be. So this is recessed in there quite a bit, which is always a good thing, but it's tough to get it in and out. Let's see if we can push the edge of this up against there to engage it. There we go. So we got it in there. And it's a good thing that it is recessed because you don't want to dislodge this or reject this accidentally. The only challenge is, obviously, it's tough to actually get it to click into place. Now, backside here, we have a little edge. We have a Type-C port right there in the middle, but we have our R1, R2, L2, and L1 shoulder and trigger buttons located on the backside here. And again, these are interchangeable with the 5 additional shoulder and trigger buttons that are included in here. So what's nice is as you hold this, you have a little spot to kind of rest your fingertips here, and it supports you pressing down on the shoulder and trigger buttons. So we're gonna go ahead and power this on. We're gonna see what's included in here. I do wanna make mention of the fact that I have left the protective little plastic over the actual screen here. So if you take a look at it on the angle, you see it is a little bit reflective. Let me see if I can peel that back actually, and then we won't have that. There we go. There, so this should be much crisper now. All right guys, so here we are loaded up into our brick. Now, we have these different categories across the top here. And to be honest, it's very hard for me to navigate this because it seems to be in a different language, but the picture quality looks great. I just don't really know how I'm navigating this currently. We'll go to that. Okay, here we go. So I found our collections on here. It's just a little bit awkward. There's probably a way to make this all English, but because it's currently in a different language, and I don't know what language that is or how to read it, making, you know, my way through it is quite a challenge. So we've got arcade here. If we launch into arcade, let me see how we can get that in focus. There we go. Arcade has, looks like 123 different titles in the arcade collection here. So we can go through these, but I have to go off of the images. Not all the games have images because the titles are in a foreign language. So that makes this a very awkward, you know, way of navigating this. You can see I can go off of some of these images here when they're familiar to me, but the majority of these, or all of these rather, are in a different language. Like this one right here. Oh, I lost it. The Fallen Angels. I have no idea, you know, what that is if I didn't have the screen shot of like the title screen there. So this is tough to navigate, to say the least. We'll back out of this collection though. We'll keep it moving. We have Atari Lynx here with, all right, so this is in English. I can read this. Atari Lynx is, there's 77 games here. So Batman Returns is in here, which is a good one. That's pretty cool. All right, as long as I can read some of them, I guess that's good. We have Atari 2600 in here with 704 titles. And this is English as well, so this one I'm good with. So I guess it's not in the, you know, language settings. It's just whatever they put the ROMs in with, you know, whatever the ROMs are labeled as is what's going to display. All right, so Atari 7800. Inside here we have 123 games. Pretty good stuff. We'll go into the next one, Capcom System 1, which is going to have 49 titles. Now we're back to it being in a foreign language, so I'd have to go off of the image again. We have Capcom System 2, same deal here. Have to go off of the image. 3, same deal here, off the image. Now we have Dreamcast, my all-time favorite collection, and we have 16 games here. These are just the file names, so we still have to go off of the image, unless you can figure it out, like, let's see, Soul Calibur's fine. Some of them are abbreviated, some of them aren't. Soul Calibur's good, Sonic Adventure 2 is good, Power Stone 2, I can, you know, comprehend what it is. Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, but then like, you know, some of these are just the file names. So awkward the way that they've laid this out. Easy RPG, nothing pops up. We have FB Neo over here. And these are into a bunch of different subcategories. So you have action games, action vertical games, you have fighter games, you have flying games, flying vertical, and others, and other verticals. Let's go into, oh, we have shooting as well. Let's go into shooting vertical. Oh, another one where it's in a different language. And I was thinking that maybe it was then just going to be a settings adjustment, but because this is in English, and then when you go into the actual collection, it's not, I don't think that's the case. I don't think we're in the wrong setting. I think it's just kind of thrown together where it combines two different languages. Family computer here, I bet you this one's going to be in a different language. So we'll go to titles that start with O. Oh, this is ironically fine. Okay. Back out of that one. Go in here, load this one up. Nothing comes up. Okay. We have Sega Game Gear. There's 619 games for Game Gear. We have Game & Watch. 54 Game & Watch games. Actually, there's 53 because the bottom one was a game list. We have original Game Boy here. We'll let that load in. 221 games, but then we have a full collection which has 1596. So this has a lot of Game Boy. Wow. And these are in English. The images are in English, so we can navigate this effectively, which is what that's all I'm hoping for at this point. We'll keep it moving. We have Game Boy Advance here, and there's 638 Game Boy Advance games. Easy to navigate. We have the Pokemon up there. We have Tekken Advance up here. Crash Bandicoot. Very cool. Crash Nitro Kart. So if we launch this, let's see what happens. Make sure everything actually loads up. It does. All right, cool. So we're able to load it up effectively. Now I'm going to back out just for now. Back out again. We have Game Boy Color here next. We have, oh, there's no game count on this one. Oh, no, there is. No, there's not. There's numbers here before the titles, and then here there's no numbers, so there's no way to really count this. Oh, at the bottom right corner. 300 and, it looks like 311 games, but then we have a full collection here, which is 472. Man, I wish that they structured this a little bit better, because it's like some have subcategories, some don't, some have numbers, some don't, some are in English, some aren't. It's just all over the place. So we have MAME here. MAME is a mess. No idea what these are. They're abbreviated in other languages. I have no idea what's going on here at all. So we're going to back out of that one. We have MAME Plus here. Same deal. There's 403 titles, but your guess is as good as mine. That's X-Men, but it just says X and then a bunch of other foreign characters. But I'm going off the image. Nothing loads up here. We have Mega Drive here. 1537 for Mega Drive, which is great. I'm a huge Mega Drive fan. This is laid out the way I want it to be. We have the images for the most part. Not all of them have images, but the text list is intact. It's easy to navigate. Great. Master System. We have 291 Master System titles. English, easy to navigate. N64. Now I'm interested to see how N64 actually performs on here. There's 109 games. It's in English. We've got the images that are scraped effectively there. This looks good. Doom 64, we have the cruising games. Looks like with 109 we should have the majority of what we're looking for, but let's go up and see. They may just be putting games that perform well on here too. So let's go into the M's and see what we have for the Mario titles. I'm sure we have Mario Kart. Yeah, we have Mario Kart and Mario Party. Those are the only Mario games on here, which, you know, leaves a lot to be desired. There's no wrestling games on here either. Those are a little bit more demanding, so I have a feeling it's probably that they're choosing what performs well on here. We will dive into some games and test out the performance, though, at the end of touring through everything. We have Nintendo DS here with 14 titles. So the majority of these collections are now starting to be laid out better. I spoke too soon. Here's Neo Geo in a different language. Yeah, just frustrating. Neo Geo Pocket, 128 games. This is laid out pretty well. We have Open Bore, 4 games. We have PC Engine here, 412 games. PGM, 20 games, different language. Pico 8, 90 games, laid out effectively. PSP, okay. PSP with 11 games, laid out well. But I'm not sure that these are all true PSP titles. Let's see. hard to tell. Some of them are, so I won't knock it. We have PlayStation here now. So PlayStation has 16 titles. Very nice. All right. So it's laid out well. Super Famicom, 304. That's just on this, though. Then when we jump into the sub-collections of, each letter has its own collection here. So there's no way to really know how many true games there are because they've created sub-collections. They've also created like a master collection too, where when you get past all the letters, there's just random games dropped in here. So, man, I just wish it was done a little better. Sega Saturn. There's 5 games in here. It's laid out well, at least. I don't know how the performance is. Wonder Swan Color, 91 games, and this is laid out nicely too. So we're a 50-50, I'd say, with collections being in English and easy to navigate, and then the other 50% are just a crapshoot. So we'll dive into some games. We'll test out the performance of this now and see how it actually handles the games that we can find and launch effectively. All right, guys, we jumped into the Trimui brick handheld game console today, and I had a pretty good experience in terms of performance on here. I love the screen quality, it's great picture, love the audio quality on here. We have two very small speakers, but they're effective, they pack a punch, I love that. Controls on here, very easy to navigate for the most part, with the exception of the trigger buttons on the back here. They're responsive, they do work. The issue that I find, and it could just be that maybe my hands are too big for this, and it's maybe just too compact of a handheld, but when I have to engage those trigger buttons on the back, I have to kind of squinch up my hands and also provide support because I'm pushing down rather than in. So it's not like I'm pushing in against like my thumbs on the front of this, I'm pushing down, so now I have to change the support of this. I can hold this very casually when I'm just gaming off of the 4 buttons in the D-pad, but when I have to start providing pressure to those trigger buttons, I feel like I have to readjust the way that I'm holding this. So it's a little bit awkward there. Other than that though, performance is great. We jumped into a wide range of games. I jumped into way more games than what I showed you guys in this video, and everything performed beautifully on here. I had no issues whatsoever with performance at all on any of these games. So even games like Mario Kart 64, I didn't think Mario Kart 64 would be smooth, but it 100% is with this handheld. The only thing awkward about that is I had to obviously steer with the D-pad instead of an analog stick. So minor adjustment there, but not a bad experience. The issue I had was the way that everything is set up on the micro SD card. Some collections are in English, some aren't, so it's not like a settings issue where, oh, just change the setting to English. That's not the issue. It's that some ROMs are labeled in a different language, some are labeled in English, some are abbreviated, so it's very hit or miss collection by collection on this micro SD card. That's my only issue with this product. The SD card could be set up way better, should be set up way better. I mean, it's not user-friendly to navigate the way that you have to navigate here. Some collections, I just don't know what each of the titles are. Some collections are put together beautifully, like Dreamcast, N64, and PlayStation. There's several others that are put together perfectly as well, where I can find exactly what I'm looking for very quickly and effectively, but you know, there is a disconnect with a good amount of collections on here. So that's the only negative that I have with this product. Would I recommend this product? I definitely would. It's still a great compact handheld. It's not super expensive. Prices obviously vary depending on where you're getting it from, so definitely pay attention to that. And you may get different micro SD cards based on where you're sourcing it from as well. I wouldn't pay $100 for this, I'll be perfectly honest, just because of how I found it to be navigating, you know, through the settings and navigating through the different game collections here. I think it should be way more user-friendly than it is currently. But performance-wise, it's not a bad handheld at all. It performs very well. It's very compact. I can throw this in my front pocket or back pocket, take it with me on the go. Battery lasts a long time. I haven't used up the battery enough to know just yet how long it lasts, but seems to be very well made and top notch, you know, across the board here. So definitely a cool product. Just keep your eye on the OS here because it's not great the way that it's currently laid out. But other than that, great product. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments of this video right here. If you want some additional information, drop down to the description of this video right here and you'll get some links down there that you can click, learn a little bit more about this product. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Please drop a thumbs up on your way out and hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the Chase Brogan YouTube channel. Thanks again. I'll see you guys on the next one.